Hello everyone. So in my previous video, we started the topic deviation from typical Mendelian result. First, we have studied about incomplete dominance. Now today I will explain you the next deviation, that is codominance. Now what is this codominance? It is a relationship where both there is no dominant recessive relationship between the two alleles of the same gene. When they are present together, both express themselves. Neither one dominates the other, nor the other is dominated by the one. So this kind of inheritance is called codominance, and this codominance is observed in the ABO blood group of the humans. See, the blood group, it is controlled by a gene I, and this gene has three different alleles. One is IA, another is IB, and a third one is small I. Now what does this IA, IB and small I represent? Actually the RBC of the humans, they have on the surface of the RBC a small sugar protrudes from the surface. If IA gene is present, a different sugar is produced. If IB gene is present, then slightly different form of sugar is produced, and if small I allele is present, then sugar is not formed. Since humans are diploid, so any two of these alleles are present. If only IA is present, both the alleles are IA, then both the sugars are present and the blood group is A. If IA is present with small I, then only one sugar is protrudes from the surface of RBC, then also the blood group is A. Similarly, if both the alleles are IB, then also the same sugar is produced and the blood group is B. And if one of the allele is IB and the other allele is small I, then also the blood group is B. But what if the two alleles are, one is IA and another is IB, then both produces the sugar. So both produces its effect and the blood group is said to be AB. And when the two small I are present, no sugar is produced and the blood group is called O. Okay. So I will show you here with the help of a table that how it works. This pen here. Here I will draw allele from parent 1. Okay. Here I will write allele from parent 2. Here I will write genotype, and in this column I will write blood type. Okay. This is blood type or blood group. Suppose if I draw a line here. Now let's see what are the possibilities. Suppose if the allele which is contributed by one of the parent is IA, then what are the possibility that this I may combine with small IA, may combine with small IB, or may combine with this. It means I can write like this. If one parent has allele IA, it may combine with another parent, may contribute IA, may contribute IB, or may contribute small I. So what would be the genotype in each case? If this is the combination, the genotype would be IA. Okay. If this is the combination, the genotype would be IA and IB. And if this is the combination, genotype would be this, IA and small I. So in the first case, the blood group will be A. In this case, the blood group is AB. In this case also, the blood group is A. Now let's see what are the other possibilities. Now the possibility is that the parent 1 may have blood group B. Okay. Now this IB, it may combine with IA, it may combine with IB, it may combine with I, isn't it? This may combine either with this or this or this. So I can write here IB and IB. So what will be the genotype? Here again IA and IB. It will be IB, IB. Here it will be IB and I. Okay. In this case, the blood group will be AB. In this case, the blood group would be B. Here the blood group also would be B because one of the parent is contributing small IB. Now another possibility is what? That both the parents are contributing small I. Then in this case the genotype would be this and the blood group is O. Understood? So here we can see that the blood type, it is determined by which gene? I. It has how many alleles we have seen? 1, IA, IB and small I. Okay. Now these are the possible combinations of the genotype that may be present in any individual. So if you count the genotypes, how many types of genotypes? See here 1, 2, 3. This is repetition, so we will not count it. 4, 5, 6. So how many total genotypes are here? Here the genotypes are what? 6. And how many phenotypes? A, AB, repetition, B and O. The phenotypes are 4. So this phenomenon is called codominance, where if both the genes, you can see here in this case and this case. Okay, now see I and B are completely dominant over small I. Have you noted this? When they are present independently, IA is present with I or IB is present with I, then they are completely dominating this small I. In this genotype and here in this combination you can see it is completely dominating. But if the two are present together like here IA, IB or here IA, IB, then both are expressing their effect and the blood group is AB. What do these genes do? If these genes are present on the surface of RBC, they produce a type of sugar on the surface of the RBC. So this is an example of codominance. So how many genotypes we have seen? 6. And how many phenotypes are there? 4. Okay, I'll tell you that this blood group was discovered by a scientist called Landsteiner. And why do we use the letter I for the gene? Because it is related to their isoagglutination. Agglutination means clumping. So human blood groups are 4, and what type of antigens and antibody they possess? Show this. So focus now. See, blood groups are 4 types. Okay, this A, B, AB and O. If blood group is A, what is the possible genotype? IA or IA small I. If blood group is A, antigen is A, antibody is B. If blood group is B, antigen is B, antibody is small a. If blood group is AB, both the antigens are present, antibodies are absent, nil. If blood group is O, antigen is nil, no antigens are present, and then both the antibodies are present in the blood. This information is important during blood transfusion. Now, if you find that A can give blood only to the A, B can give B only, but O is universal donor and AB is, remember, universal recipient. Why AB can receive blood from any group? Because it does not have any antibody. Why O is a universal donor? Because it has no antigen on it. Okay. So now we explain the codominance. In codominance, we have seen that if the two alleles are present and there is no dominant recessive relationship, both express their effect. So in this case, we have seen that this gene has more than 2 alleles. This phenomenon is called multiple allelism. So what is multiple allelism? How can we define this term? That multiple alleles are the multiple alternatives of the same gene. If a gene has more than 2 alleles, then this phenomenon is called multiple allelism. And the example is ABO blood group in humans. We have seen that gene I has 3 alleles, isn't it? It is, one is IA, second is IB, and third is small I. Now what is the result? How it is that from one gene has more than two allele, it is caused due to mutation of the wild type of genes. Okay. Some genes, they get mutated and they produce more than two alleles, but they occupy the same locus on the homologous chromosome. Now another phenomena is called just opposite. In multiple allele we have seen one gene has more than two allele. Now next is we are going to study, it is called leiotropy or leiotropism. Leiotropy is a phenomena where one gene produces more than one effect, or one gene has more than one phenotypic effect. Such a phenomena is called leiotropy. Like in P, there is one gene called B. It has three different alleles are, one is capital B and small b, means one is or recessive, you can say. Now what are the three possible genotypes? Maybe that both dominants are present, that is capital B, or both recessive present, small b, or maybe in heterozygous condition that one capital B, one small b. So there are two homozygous condition and one heterozygous condition. Now this gene controls the two phenotype of the P. It controls number one, seed size. The same gene controls two character, seed size and seed shape. If we consider the size, if both the dominant alleles are present, seed size is large. If both the recessive are present, seed size is small. But if the condition is heterozygous, that is, one is capital B, another is small b, then what it is expected? That the seed size would be either large or small. But the size of the seed is neither large nor small, but it is of intermediate size. It means it is showing example of incomplete dominance. Neither of the alleles are completely dominant over the other. But the same gene, when we see that how it controls the seed shape, when both capital B are present, it is round. When both small b are present, it is wrinkled. But when the condition is heterozygous, that is capital B, small b, then the seed shape is again round. So the same gene is producing two different effects. For seed size, it is showing incomplete dominance, and for seed shape, it is showing complete dominance. Such phenomena is called leiotropy. Okay, I'll explain this. Bring here. Here I will write, see, what are the three possibilities I said? It may be this, it may be this, or small b. Okay. So this side is showing what? Genotype. And here I will write what is the phenotype that they affect. First it is seed size. Okay. And second character that it affects is seed shape. Okay, gene same. If both the capital B is present, then the seed size is what? Large. Okay, large grain. And if small b is present, then the seed small grain. Size is what? Small. So what would happen if this is the condition, heterozygous condition? It is expected that it should show either this character or this character. But it does not show either of the two. Rather, grain size is intermediate, neither large nor small. Intermediate. So in this case, would you call that this gene is showing complete dominance? No. It is showing incomplete dominance. When both are present together, neither of them are able to express or dominate the other. Rather, intermediate character is expressed. But if the same gene is influencing the other phenotype, that is seed shape. When this is the genotype, capital B, the shape is round. When this is the genotype, it is wrinkled. And when this is a genotype, again it is showing round. It means here this capital B is completely dominant over this small b allele. So in this case, in the first case, it is showing what? Incomplete dominance, and in the second case, it is showing complete dominance. So such a phenomena where one gene produces more than one effect or more than one phenotype, then this phenomena is called leuotropy. Okay, leuotropy or leuotropism. So in this case we can say that if a gene influences more than one phenotype, isn't it? This gene is influencing more than one phenotype, then dominance is not an autonomous feature. It is not that which one will be dominant. Okay, it depends upon the product and the particular phenotype. This is the phenotype, it is showing incomplete dominance. If we consider this phenotype, it is showing complete dominance. So what this phenomena is called? Same gene controlling more than two phenotype, it is called leuotropy. I hope you have understood these two examples of deviation from the Mendelian result, that is incomplete dominance and complete dominance. Okay. Now I will discuss the differences between Now we'll discuss the difference between, what is the difference between complete dominance and incomplete dominance. Okay, in complete dominance, try to recall the example of tall crossed with dwarf, and in the F1 generation we get tall. So how can we write the point of differences in complete dominance? F1 individuals have the same trait as one of the two parent. In F1, tall is crossed with dwarf, we see that the plant was tall. So it is showing one of the character of the parent. Whereas in incomplete dominance, F1 does not resemble either of the parent. Okay. Second difference is in F2 generation, 3/4 individual shows the trait of the F1. Like tall was crossed with dwarf. In F1 generation we got all tall, and in F2 generation also we got 3:1 ratio. Do you remember that? So it 3/4 shows the trait of the F1, whereas in incomplete dominance in F2 generation only half individual shows the trait of the F1. Like red was crossed with white, F1 was pink. On again selfing we got the ratio 1:2:1. One was red, 2 was pink, and 1 was white. The third difference is that phenotypic ratio and genotypic ratio are not same in case of complete dominance, whereas in incomplete dominance both phenotypic and genotypic ratio are the same. So in complete dominance only a single allele can express the complete dominant trait. Like capital T was enough, whether it is present singly or double, it was able to express its effect. Whereas in incomplete dominance, a single gene is not able to produce its effect. Like we have seen, when capital R, small r present, the flower was neither red nor pink. When both capital R present, the flower was red. When both small r present, the flower was white. So these are some of the differences between complete and incomplete dominance. Now we have read incomplete dominance and codominance. Now let us compare these two also. In incomplete dominance, the phenotype of hybrid does not resemble any of the parent, isn't it? Red crossed with white, pink. It doesn't resemble any of the parent. Whereas in codominance, the phenotype resembles both the parent, isn't it? If the phenotype resembles, if A was crossed with B, the hybrid will have AB blood group. So it resembles both. Hybrid in incomplete dominance, hybrid shows a new phenotype, whereas in codominance, new phenotype is not formed. In incomplete dominance, no allele has an independent effect, whereas in codominance, both the allele produces independent effect. I hope you have understood the difference between incomplete dominance and codominance. So this is very important from an exam point of view also. Thank you.